brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
It is Monday, the 22nd day of March, 2010. The behemoth government power grab known as Obamacare has passed the House. It is now a formality to leave the Senate and go to the president's desk sometime this week. We are going to open the phones up specifically for listeners to talk about points in the plan they like. I would imagine those folks haven't actually read the bill. They'll just regurgitate talking points that they heard the media, the controlled corporate media, and the Democrats spew. You're welcome to call in about what you like in it or what you don't like. What you think is most dangerous, not just about the bill, but the way it was passed and 38 states lining up to sue to try to block it. It is unbelievably unconstitutional, amazingly illegal. And we're going to be going over every stinking facet of it today. Folks need to stay angry and get truly educated on what's happening, because the establishment knows it's going to take a few years for any of this to be phased in. The taxes will hit right away. All the different taxes and fines and fees and the IRS grabbing your bank account or your paycheck or your tax return, $16,500 to $20,000. They're debating new IRS enforcers now running your life, involved in everything you do, setting the precedent to make you buy private insurance. And that's only the beginning. The sky is the limit here. But this is not socialism. Socialism is bad enough. This is highway robbery. That's why I've had more time to read over the final bill, 2,700 pages. I've just scanned it with keyword searches. And I have a correction to make, because the media have been lying, saying that it started becoming phased in 2013, 3 years from now, and then fully phased in 2015, 5 years from now. I'm sorry, much of the bill, the so-called benefits, don't hit for 7.5 plus years till 2018. And now they're saying, oh, well, you might not actually get free health care. This will just expand Medicare and Medicaid, but then cut the amount of services you get under it. So it raises taxes and cuts benefits. And that's why Howard Dean and Dennis Kucinich had been against it. They wanted real socialism. This is just like the banker bailout, where they say, oh, we need all these trillions of dollars to unfreeze the housing market. On October 3rd, 2008, on October 4th, they said, guess what? We're not spending it on that, and we're not going to tell you where we are spending it. And we have seen seamless political integration from Bush to Obama in the banking theft that's going on. So basically, this is just the government passing a health care bill to grab another large percentage of the economy on top of grabbing the auto industry, the greenhouse gas tax, home inspections, property controls, that the Senate won't pass, so Obama's just implementing it by executive fiat. That's grabbing much of the economy. This is a controlled economy where they can selectively enforce on whoever they want. That's another discriminatory issue. A bunch of different large labor unions and other groups, they get to keep their so-called Cadillac health care, which just means that basically all medical procedures are covered and you don't have to pay a deductible. And so select groups, they're not going to be penalized, but the general public, it will. And small businesses will. And so small businesses, the biggest employer in this country, will just let employees go and keep a skeleton crew and then give them insurance, but also cut their paycheck. So, and then it'll be watered down health care. And it's all here in the fine print. We're going to go over it, but I had a caller yesterday near the end of the broadcast, the Sunday show, who said, Alex, explain this to me. How are the insurance companies benefiting from this? How are the insurance companies behind this? We'll break that down first when we get back and take your calls. 1-800-259-9231. A day that will live in infamy. The federal government, controlled by criminal offshore banks and corporations, greedy for more revenue streams, has seized control, depending on what numbers you look at 16 to 20% of the U.S. economy. They already have much of the auto industry. Under their environmental initiative, they are taking control of all industry, power plants, production, farms, ranches. The federal government has passed in the House and is very close in the Senate to passing the cybersecurity bill that allows the president and the federal government unilaterally to shut down the web completely or restrict and censor and tax the web in any way they see fit. See, dictatorial power is being handed to the government, by the government, illegally. This is the essence of tyranny, the essence of the seizure of power. This is a bona fide tyranny, bona fide authoritarian system. And I saw all these Republicans getting up there righteously saying, this is tyranny, this is the end of freedom, this is the greatest power grab ever, this is treason, this is an overthrow of our country, of our republic. Limbaugh saying it, they're all saying it, and they're telling the truth. But hey guys, hey girls, you were for the Patriot Act, clearly written for the American people, has nothing to do with foreign cave dwellers in Central Asia. You were all for illegal wars not declared by Congress, wars of aggression, lies about WMDs, now confirmed to be premeditated lies, not mistakes. You're all for having the military run warrantless checkpoints in the nation. You're all for Northcom spying on the American people without warrants and secret arrest and torture. You're all for shutting down websites you don't agree with. See, this is how tyranny works. It's always sold against some unpopular minority. In the case of Nazi Germany, Jews, communists, and others. But it's always designed for the mass, because you are the people the system wants to rob. And once they start violating the Bill of Rights and Constitution, there is a race to the bottom. And now the bottom has fallen out. There's nothing holding us up anymore. And the system wants to fully bankrupt the country and the states so they can bring in a new order, a new Bank of the World, a new constitution, an open world government billed and sold as the savior to the world economic crises. All these decades, they denied they were forming quietly a shadow world government. Now it's coming out of the shadows because they think they've got us right where they want us. Now, throughout the next few hours, I'm going to walk through all the different facets of this. I tried to get to it all yesterday, and we covered quite a bit, but I want to really go deeper today. But I also want to open the phones up, but specifically on tyranny in this country and the government health care plan and what you're going to do to stop it. Now, there isn't going to be a silver bullet to this, but the number one thing is getting informed, getting active, getting on your feet, getting aggressive, and staying angry and never stopping. And realizing that many hands make light work. This is going to be a process. The globalists have come to power through an incremental process. We are going to take our society back through an incremental process, through the long view of history. We're having a lot of victories against them. They can't get the Senate to pass their global carbon tax takeover, so they're illegally going to implement it through the EPA. But the lawsuits are being filed by the states and by private interest. But more importantly, the states are lining up to say they're going to pass laws that nullify it and that they just won't follow it within their borders. On the Second Amendment, on the land grabs, on the carbon taxes, on every front. They tried to get their Copenhagen Treaty through to set up the banking world dictatorship. That failed. So now they're just having the central bankers of the G20 set it up by fiat. We have to challenge that criminality. See, now it's about open tyranny. They try to pass this stuff. They try to get it through and sell the public. But when they can't, they go ahead and try to implement it regardless. But then it's that much more obvious what we're dealing with. But they have gotten this bill through. It will go to the president this week. He will sign it. And they got it by very thin margin, 4